How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what's up, nerds? We're here. We're talking about the market. I'm your boy TraderPrad. NVDA earnings, PANW earnings, Snow earnings. So bunch of earnings, bunch of movers, bunch of trades. The watch list is humongous. So lots to prepare for, lots to talk about. Let's dive into it. Let's go straight to the full screen. I want to show you guys, ooh, that's already activated. Let's turn off the watch list for a second and show you guys the earnings board. So as the title already says, NVIDIA, Snowflake, PANW, a bunch of other names over here in the after hours that reported, not that I really care about. The three that we care about are right at the top of the leaderboard right there. Then we also have a couple of names that are reporting tomorrow. Pre-market might be some importance to a couple of these names, but I might just kind of ignore John Deere and BJ's depending on how NVIDIA, Snowflake, and PANW set up in the pre-market, but for sure on the watch list, so I'll go over it. It's Baidu, Pinduoduo, John Deere, BJ's to see how they set up for potential trading opportunities. So let's go through the watch list real quick. Here is the humongous watch list. If I can even find a way to bring it over. I'll just do this. God damn it. Alright, here we go. Here is the humongous watch list, starting with, we have an IPO to do a research about. We'll do research about that later on. But there we go. The earnings names, the ones that reported today after hours, some of them that reported yesterday or today pre-market or sometime throughout the week. The cryptocurrency names that have been going crazy. MSTR broke 500 going into the close today. That was kind of monstrous if you were looking for the short. So the Bitcoin sector, obviously, some of the names that again reported earnings. Elf Beauty made a move to the downside today. Gave you a capitulation long. My scanner picked up the capitulation long, but I didn't take it. Boy, oh boy, was that trade insane today. We'll talk about Elf Beauty. They had a short report coming out on Elf Beauty, but after it sold off, it kind of just completely 360 reversed all of the selling. So a little bit of what the hell happened over there type of move on Elf Beauty today. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure. DXYZ didn't really keep an eye on DXYZ today. I don't think there was a trade opportunity. Well, I shouldn't guess. We'll see if there was, and maybe there is one tomorrow. Same with DJT. Didn't really watch it. I did watch Palantir. Lemonade keeps going higher and higher. I got some stocks off of the scanners, and then again some of the stocks that we kind of talked about yesterday. Cameo, A-Lab, SoFi. A-Lab actually making a little bit of a move in the after hour right now. Cameo, SoFi got above 1450, but kind of struggled to really have a blast off above 1450. So that one sucked today if you were watching that. And then Reddit 139 potentially coming back into play. Affirm, Hood, some of the stocks that we've traded before or talked about in the last stream. Sorry, is what I wanted to say, not traded before. So all those on the watch list. So as you guys can see, pretty big watch list for us to talk about. And we're gonna start off with, at the top of the board, not with Pony, we're gonna start off with NVDA. So bring in Benzinga if you guys are interested in checking out Benzinga. Click the link below in the description for the Linktree page, or I'll just post it in the chat right now on all 3 platforms that I'm streaming on. Click that link right there, head over to the affiliate sponsors section and check out all of the 4 affiliate sponsors. Great products for trading. If you are trading, day trading, swing trading, these are products that can accelerate your potential to unlock your best you. Without these, it'll just take a little bit longer, so you can cut that process quicker by using good tools at your disposal. All right, so let's pull in NVIDIA and go check out their earnings report. I know NVIDIA actually had a little bit of a downside move after the after hours. So let's go see how the report's set up. Any one of those analysts still alive? Are they fired? You know, we got a lot of analyst reports right before the stock reported, and then the stock tried to rally hard yesterday, and then today obviously no go on the rally. And the report not looking that great apparently. At least the market didn't like it. So let's read it real quick. Continued a streak of beating expectations in the third quarter. Revenue and earnings per share coming in ahead of the street's estimates. Okay, that looks good. Q3 numbers. 35.1 billion, insane, up 94% year over year, which beat a street consensus estimates of 33.12. Company reported earnings per share of 81 cents per share, beating estimates of 75 cents. The company beat analyst estimates of revenue in 9 straight quarters. Company beat analyst estimates of earnings per share in 8 straight quarters. Analysts and Benzinga readers predicted NVIDIA would meet or exceed third quarter expectations ahead of the target. What's your boldest prediction on NVIDIA earnings report? What is all this garbage? Can I just see the actual numbers of the stock, please? There we go, just a little bit lower, segment by segment. So we got data center, 30.8 billion, up 112% year over year, up 17% quarter over quarter. Gaming and PC, 3.3 billion, up 15% year over year, up 14% quarter over quarter. Professional visualizations, okay, 486 million, 17% up year over year, and quarter over quarter 7%. Automotive auto, 449 million, 72% up year over year, quarter over quarter is 30%. So all things looking good for our boys over here at NVIDIA. Still, the market did not like it. Maybe they're saying, you know, the price is over, or the stock is overpriced, and time to pump the brakes on the stock. AI, what I'm also seeing is, you know, AI not getting the love it was getting. Right now, all the hype is cryptocurrency. All the love is Bitcoin. As Bitcoin right now, as we're talking about it, it's making a new all-time high, 95,000 hitting on Bitcoin, and I kind of just, you know, got a little bit of a reject from 95,000 exactly. Somebody taking profits at 95,000, but most likely we're gonna churn through that level and keep charging higher over here. I'm not really showing the chart, sorry. There you go. 95,000 is a new all-time high on Bitcoin. So potentially getting a bigger move. And as I was just talking about it, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, MSTR, Michael Saylor finding the infinite money glitch is basically where all the love is going to, and AI just not getting that love at the moment. Don't get me wrong, it's still there as the backup sector. I think it will kick back in right after this Bitcoin sector kind of cools down and MSTR cools down. But yeah, NVIDIA, obviously a little bit of potential overvalued question marks being asked by the investors and shareholders. If we continue reading down the report, I don't think we actually see the outlook. If the stock goes higher, CEO Jensen Huang will continue to benefit as one of the key shareholders of the stocks. As the stock has soared to $128 billion in is that 1.28 or 128? Jesus. $128 billion in 2024, ranking 11th in the world according to Bloomberg. Jensen Huang added 84.3 billion to his wealth and is around 17 billion away from cracking the top 10 richest people in the world milestone. If shares continue to trade higher to the end of the year, this milestone could be within reach. Well, let's try to make it happen, team. Let's try to make it happen for our boy Jensen here. Get him into the top 10 richest people so we can sign boobas again. If you guys remember the day when Jensen signed the booba picture, it was the temporary top on NVIDIA. But right now, obviously, we've kind of gone above that quite a bit. If NVIDIA shatters expectations, how high could the stock go by end of 2024? Benzinga asked. The results were 150 to 180, 55%. 180 to 200, 26%. Above 200, 18%. That's for by the end of the year 2024. They had a poll. I would like to see how many people actually predicted in this poll. They asked the poll, I guess, and according to the poll, 55% of the people are only expecting a range of 150 to 180. That could be a decent enough of a consensus if you ask me, depending on the sample size. We don't know the sample size, sadly. A better sample size, obviously, always is the options market. If you go into the options market, always a better sample size, seeing what the open interest and what price people are pricing it into. Apparently MSTR price is $530. So if we do get into 530, it will be funny to see how the stock reacts, especially going into Friday on options expiry. So we got about what, 2 more days. Today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, options expiry. Apparently that options expiry, this is somebody who tweeted it out. I didn't do my research on this, but I'm just gonna quote it anyways because I trust the person who tweeted it out pretty well. They said 530 is the options price that is being priced in for MSTR. So if it goes there, that could set up for a good short opportunity on the stock. We'll be watching it pretty closely. I think one thing that I could do, let me just hide my screen so I can log in to one of my platforms. Don't want to dox myself. I've done this plenty of times before where I just show my email and not my password. I'm not that stupid, but show my email on streams and people just start emailing me random bullshit. Pretty annoying when people do that. There we go. We're logged into it. Options AI. We're gonna go check out MSTR. And what is the expected move on this? Wait, what the hell is this? $525.19. Sounds like 530 to me. Pretty $5 on a what, $20 ATR stock doesn't sound too bad. Doesn't sound too bad. So obviously watching this stock as it keeps on going higher. Let's get back on topic. I got distracted a little bit. We were talking about NVIDIA. NVIDIA obviously reported banger earnings report, 99% growth, but it is no longer the 3-digit growth that the market was kind of used to seeing on NVIDIA. So I guess that could be a little bit of a negative sentiment as to why NVIDIA sold off a little bit off the initial reaction. Hello, did my anchor VWAP not go through? There we go. Sold off a little bit off the initial reaction. Oh, that's pretty cute. The 3-day anchored VWAP. So that's basically Monday's VWAP and anchored VWAP from earnings is exactly the same. Interesting. So we'll be watching to see how the stock sets up. Obviously, if you ask me, the report was good, but is it good enough for the one and only level to come into play, which is that $150? If the report is good enough for the 150 to come into play, we have been rejecting that level every single time quite hard. This move in the after hour right now is almost insignificant if you ask me. Yeah, we flushed down, but we popped right back above today's low, and we basically managed to stay above today's low all through after hours. So either we get back below today's low, we get back below last week's low, that's basically 140, and you open up some downside, as people say, enough is enough on NVIDIA. Or people say, you know what, put the hype train back into motion. As cryptocurrencies are going higher, they need graphics card to mine cryptocurrencies. As AI keeps on ramping up, NVIDIA is the king of AI. So let's just keep buying up more and more and more, because NVIDIA is also part of the infinite money glitch. So if that's the case, then you know, potentially NVIDIA makes a charge towards that 150 and actually breaks through 150, and at that point, you know, holy shit, we're expecting a monster move. But if 150 has a fail breakout, exactly like what MSTR did today into 500, gave you a fail breakout of 500 and then push all the way into 460, 470, giving you a beautiful short over there for a very tight risk to reward. You were maybe risking $5 per share, and you got about, you know, $30 per share reward on that trade if you were looking for it. So MSTR, NVIDIA, all these names are pretty important for us to watch tomorrow. Let's head over to the next one that reported. PANW, Pandubskis. Did you actually make a move today, Pandubskis? Ooh, also moving to the downside. Not what I'd like to see. Looks like we're actually going into a previous earnings report. Yes, previous earnings report anchored VWAP on the 5-minute coming into play. So 384 area, potentially, you know, dip buy off of that. Yeah, it did dip buy right off of that. What was that, 360 or so? You know, don't ask me why it works, but it works, okay? Potentially because buyers are still buying it from when the last time the earnings report reported. So whoever is buying it there thinks that this price is still a buy for them. So they're still potentially buying up some shares on dip. So keep an eye on PANW tomorrow. Let's quickly read how the report is. Is the report valid to even think for a potential dip buy long on this name? PANW. PANW reported first quarter revenue 2.14 billion, beating estimates of 2.12. Reported EPS of 1.56, beating estimates of 1.48. Looking good. Revenue up 14% year over year. Performance obligations grew 20% year over year. Next generation security recurring revenue up 40% year over year. Then why the hell did we sell off? Did you guide lower? Expect second quarter revenue to be in the range of 22.2 billion to 2.22 billion to 2.25 billion versus 2.23 billion estimates. That looks like, you know, pretty much in range over there. Company expects second quarter adjusted earnings to be between 1.54 to 1.56 versus estimates of 1.55, also in range. Expects full year revenue to be 9.12 to 9.17 versus 9.13. The high end is pretty decently higher than, I guess not pretty decent, I guess it's a little bit higher, but still higher. And the low end's not that much lower, so it's not that bad if you ask me. 6.26 to 6.39 versus estimates of 6.28. That's also in the same realm as what I just said for the revenue. All things looking good, but looks like the stock, when did you start selling off? Right as the report came out. I was expecting maybe the earnings report, the earnings call will give the stock a little bit of a bounce back, but no bueno. no bueno. It did bounce, however, off the previous earnings report. Anchored VWAP, so nice little bounce off of that 360 area. That is also the basic low today that we put into PANW. Based on the earnings report, guys, they had growth. Okay, company's actually growing. So when a company is growing, it's hard for me to look short. They're also making money. They make what, $1.50? Is that what we just saw per quarter? So they make money. So you know, it's hard to look short, but this is potentially a good factor that could help us look short. Insider transactions, insider ownership 77%. Okay, short float non-existent. I mean, I didn't really expect a short float to be there for PANW anyways. So a little expensive, 54. But look, I don't want to keep bringing up Carvana, but you can check Carvana's PE yourself, and then you know, tell me if PE really matters. So for me, if you ask, PANW, the pullback into this 360 area, is this 360? That's a little bit lower. Right into this area, 357. You can see how 360 to 357, 355 even, that low happens to be 356. So a good consolidation in this box. For me to think that if we dip back here, there could be some long opportunities. The anchored VWAP on the daily chart also at 358. On the 5-minute chart, it's at 360. So I'm gonna keep an eye out to see if 360 does come back into play, maybe in the pre-market. I don't think it should come back into play, if I'm being honest with you. I think the stock will start reclaiming some of the levels in the pre-market. One of the more important levels will be to see how it reacts off of today's low, where the VWAP for all 3 days, today, yesterday, and the day before, is coming into, basically around today's low. So if we pull back into 385 in the pre-market and are not able to get above, is that where the VWAPs are? I'm just kind of guessing right now with my cursor. 386, 385, yeah, right there. So today VWAP 385, 2-day VWAP 385. So right around this area, 385 to 386. Last week's low 385.50. So 385 to 386. If we get a pop up to that level in the pre-market and we start rejecting from that level in the pre-market, start going back lower, then there potentially is no more longs. But if I'm looking for a long, I would love to see the stock already getting above these areas, getting above last week's low, getting above today's low, and staying strong above this area. So if you're strong above 385, 386, I think looking for the long based on the report we just had over here might not be a bad call, but that is a big if. So we'll see what happens in the pre-market. I think what might happen is it actually trickles back into 360 and then a dip by into 360, obviously, as I mentioned, which is something I'll look for. I think that will be what, more than a 10% drop at that point. Maybe SSR will be, where do we close at today? 392, 392.89. Can do the math, I know, but I'm just lazy. Okay, fuck you. 10% will be right around, what is that? Where's my cursor at? Right around 353. So even if we go below 360 and go all the way into 353 area and trigger SSR, that's a good spot to look for a long also. Somebody I haven't seen in a long time is in the chat. Zim. I know I was talking about Zim, a couple days ago, talking about the earnings coming back up and how they, have been doing pretty well. But boy, oh boy, they completely rejected that gap up, completely closed the gap. But we've seen this happen before on Zim, right? It will close the gap, but then it'll move right back up the next day or something. So we'll see what happens, but that's a pretty big gap close. Good to see you in the chat, Momo. How you been? Good to see you in the chat. Coming back to PANW, 360. We have this most recent low. That's PANW, yes. 360, this most recent low over here at 356. I'm just maybe gonna delete all my drawings really quickly and throw some new ones for myself. Watching that area, watching this little bottom, watching potentially this, hello markers, watching potentially that area. If that comes into play, I don't think it should. And then on any pops into here, go back into the 5-minute chart. Ooh, look at that. Surprise, surprise. We're exactly under that line that we just threw in not too long ago. Throw in my anchored VWAP for the earnings report, and now we're just playing off the levels. Looks like a little bit of a barrier around 378. We can see how multiple pops into 378 on the 5-minute chart got rejected, especially after the 360 bounce. We tried to go above 378, we got rejected. Tried to go above 378, got rejected again, and then slowly just kind of trickled back up over here. So it looks like an active seller into 378. So anywhere above the line that we just threw in, all the way into 378, I would say could be a potential breakout zone in the pre-market itself for a nice move upside. But I don't really trade pre-market, so I'm gonna stay away from that. PANW looks a little scared. Oh no, we lost the previous earnings anchored VWAP. Maybe I can just throw one in right now real quick. What day was it? Right, that day? All right, it kind of came into right into that day. All right, we'll take it. A nice little rough estimate of that anchored VWAP, because it's not really anchored to the actual earnings, but it's anchored to the day their stock reported earnings. Okay, we'll take it. We'll take it. So this whole area is interesting to me to see how dip buys in there react. Snow, a fun stock finally. Let's actually delete all the lines because I have too much garbage over here. Snow, finally a fun stock, gapping up big time in pre-market, or sorry, I should say after hours. Big move in the after hours off the earnings report. So let's bring this bad boy up on Benzinga. Revenue 942.09 million. Compared that to NVDA, 35 billion. Okay, in a quarter. So Snowflake, third quarter revenue 942 million, estimates 896 million. So nice beat on that side. Reported earnings of 20 cents per share, beating estimates of 15 cents per share. Decent beat on that side too. Revenue up 28% year over year. Product revenue up 29% year over year. Net revenue retention rate up a 127 in the quarter. Woo! Okay, what are you doing different? That you're retaining more customers. That's always a good thing. Remaining performance obligations up 55% year over year. Snowflake's at end of the quarter with 542 customers with trailing 12-month product revenue greater than $1 million. Our obsessive drive, not gonna read all that. Snowflake expects fourth quarter product revenue in the range of 906 million to 911 million, up approximately 23% year over year. Ooh, not bad at all. Company also raised its full year product guidance from 3.356 billion to 3.43 billion, representing a 29% growth year over year. So that looking good. What else? Announced it signed a definitive agreement to acquire enterprise AI company Datavolo. Snowflake expects the acquisition to help the company simplify data engineering workloads and deliver data interoperability and extensibility, a building block for effective enterprise AI. Also announced a strategic multi-year partnership with AI data cloud company Anthropic, which is backed by Amazon. Looks like an Amazon deal coming through. The partnership is expected to help enable global enterprise develop and scale easy, efficient, and trusted AI products. Said Anthropic's new Cloud 3.5 models will be available to leverage within Snowflake's Cortex AI on Amazon Web Services. Our partnership with Anthropic represents a massive leap forward in expanding our promise to provide, to provide thousands of global customers with easy, efficient, and trusted AI for holistic set of enterprise use cases. By bringing Anthropic industry leading model to customers, enterprise data blah 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 blah, more Anthropic, more blah 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 blah, more blah 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 blah. Snowflake shares were down 34% year to date heading into the print. The stock was up 18.65% after hours at the time of the report, at the time of the publication, all the way up to $153.23. But we made a little bit higher move in the after hours than that. We ended up going into a high of 155.4 and the closing right around 154.76 in the after hours. So monster move today and on Snowflake, potentially watching this little dip buy opportunity right into the earnings anchored VWAP of 147.50. So watch how 147.50 to 147 area reacts on Snowflake. A nice little quick dip buy and a run pass through, exactly like I'll show you how a trade that we talked about yesterday set up, executed, and I traded it exactly the way I planned for it. So let me just put this in my notes right now, 147.50 to 147. But show you a trade that we want to talk about, VRT. We were talking about how VRT could potentially go into yesterday's VWAP and then bounce off of yesterday's VWAP right into today's VWAP. It did that exactly picture perfect. So I got long in this area and I rode it right into today's VWAP and where I took profits. Beautiful trade, nice and easy trade. Just waited for it to come down all day, and then once it came down, wait for it to start looking for the long opportunity on this one. That's basically the hunting game on VRT that I pulled off today. You could potentially do something similar if Snowflake doesn't go even more ballistic in pre-market. Potential chance that it go ballistic with all the new partnerships, upgrading on the forecast. They're growing year over year, all things looking good on Snowflake. As you can see, they were actually struggling quite a bit for the last few earnings report, but now moving right back to the north side, all things looking good again. So can Snowflake look great again? We gotta stop using that for everything, or at least I gotta stop using that for everything. But can Snowflake become great again? Now, as you can see, I just quickly put down a level right there that could potentially come into play. I won't be surprised if it does. It's 168.68. Why not 169.69? Like, if you want to have a clever level like that and have a stock top out at a specific price, why not have it topped out at 169.69? Be a little bit more fun. What a boring person whoever put the sell order at 168.68 instead of at 169.69. You're lame. You're absolutely lame. Anyways, we got this 168.50 to 170 area that could very easily come into play. I won't doubt it. We've seen wilder things recently in the market. 26% move. Yeah, I won't doubt that move coming into Snowflake at all. So be ready for a little bit of all gas, no brakes type of situation on Snowflake. A dip buy and a breakout above the pre-market high, or even just taking a simple trade as the opening range 5-minute breakout on Snowflake and having the stop at the low a day, and seeing if you can catch that big burst off the momentum to the north side. So very interested to see how Snowflake sets up. I'm gonna right off the bat color the stock purple, and I'm gonna put it in the notes. Potentially can look for the ORB5 long on this if it sets up right. If you are scared of taking the opening range breakout 5-minute, what you can do, most of the time they break out and they don't come back, and they don't give you a chance to get long again. But sometimes they break out, they pull back, and then they hold above the opening range 5-minute, and then they run again. Right? Buyers are stepping up. Buyers are now defending the opening range breakout high price, and they're stepping into that area. They're respecting it. So all of those key criteria start ticking off. Then you start looking for a long on the opening range breakout long on Snowflake. I don't really expect it to crumble tomorrow, but if it does, then like I said, that long over here, look for the previous 2-minute candle high to break out. And as soon as the previous 2-minute candle high breaks out after we touch 147.50 area, look for that long because Snowflake potentially moves right back into this 156, 155 area from 147.50. So watching this one for sure. I'm just going to quickly go ahead and put in this after hour high of 155, 155.50 on watch, and then above that I want to see how this 168.68 slash 170 area comes into play or not. Am I wrong or right on that idea? A couple other stocks that potentially we want to go through. My watch list is all over the place today, so I want to go to the bottom of the watch list, quickly talk about some of the stocks that are reporting earnings tomorrow pre-market. This is Baidu, China. Ooh, Baidu pulled quite decently back to the previous ranges, right back into its earnings ranges before going all kinds of haywire from its China stimulus reasons. So maybe Baidu could give you a decent trade tomorrow on the long side if it sets up, that is. Pinduoduo potentially has a little bit more room back to the downside, but I'm expecting Pinduoduo obviously to keep cooking their books. Potentially that's what people are saying Pinduoduo is doing. I'm not saying that they're doing that. Temu has been a big home run for Pinduoduo. Let's see if that continues to be a home run for these guys, and if the numbers are looking great as they always keep looking. They have been looking great for quite some time now. Let's see if Pinduoduo, Baidu make a little bit of a rally back to the upside like FUTU yet to break that 86.50 downside. If you actually just waited to get long because it did not break 86.50 today off the open and you took the opening range 5-minute breakout, you would have had a beautiful run up. Let me show you the 5-minute chart here. You would have had a beautiful run up. And then you would have actually gone stopped out actually. Lol. So opening range 5-minute breaks out. Oh, you would not. Okay, yeah, you would have gone long on the breakout over here on this candle at 89.23. You would have never been stopped out on the trade. And if you trail your stock based on your exit rules or whatever, you would have basically been able to potentially capture somewhere into $90. So you get long 89, you're risking about $1.60. You know what, there's actually a tool for this. This might be a D trade according to wrong website. According to S&B Capital EV calculator, all right. According to the S&B EV calculator, if we go to the EV calculator and you say 50% of the time you win, 50% of the time you lose, you're risking about, what's the low a day right there? The low a day is about $1.50 away. Let's say $1.50. Your risk is $1.50. 50% probability of win rate. Your reward was about $1.60. That's potentially a D trade, right? That's a D trade. So if you want, you can take it, but it's not really that good of a trade apparently, based on our calculations over here. But I am looking to apply on Snowflake for sure the opening range breakout if the parameters are right. If the parameters are setting up exactly as I vision it to, I'm very much interested on looking for that breakout to the upside. Let's look at what the hell is going on here. Let's look at Target. I know Target got absolutely smoked today on their earnings report. Boy, oh boy, Target just doesn't catch a break. As I was saying yesterday, can Target catch a break? And the answer seems to be n'est pas. That's French for no, it cannot catch a break. I think that's what it means, right? Or does n'est pas means no more? I don't even know French. I don't know why I'm acting like I know French. Anyways, the answer is no. We're not catching a break on Snowflake, moving right back into $120. A little bit of a bounce off of 120. I think if we do have an inside day on target tomorrow, should I say target, potentially a bounce off of 120 gives you an opportunity to look long on target. As long as we're staying above 120, I think you can continue looking long. But if 120 breaks, I think there could be a day 2 opportunity on target. Also keep in mind, also look for the anchored VWAP for today / the earnings report. So that's coming around 123.30. You can see how that area is also a little bit of a top right there. That top right there, that top right there. So you have anywhere from 123.50 to 124, I'd say, as a little bit of a zone. I'll just maybe mark that off right there for myself. A little bit of a zone to potentially keep an eye on. See how the stock reacts before, if you get short in this zone. Let's say the stock pops over here. If you get short somewhere over here, you want to wait before the stock gets firm above this area before you close your short, because anywhere in this area could be noise. But once the stock actually starts to hold above this area, that means then the shorts are actually kind of no bueno anymore, I would say. So you want to wait perfectly to see if you can catch the right side of the V. Once it kind of does a fail break of that area, maybe you can catch that corner right there and then move right back, kind of like what happened on VRT. So this report, if it's negative and bearish enough, we are expecting a pop and a reject back down, at least for a move from 123.50 into 120 for a nice $3 move for maybe like a 50 cent a dollar risk. Let's calculate that EV, okay? Let's give it 50% win rate. It's actually somewhere around 65%. So I'm going to give it 65 to be honest. Let's say a dollar risk. And you're getting, how much was it again? $3 from 123.50 to 120. So that's actually $3.50. Expected value, you're getting, oh, what? Oh wait, that's the other way around. Sorry, $3.50 for reward, $1 for risk. There we go. This is a B plus, sorry, a B trade. Not, I guess it doesn't give you a B plus or not, but this is a B trade. The expected value is 1.92. That means anytime you risk $100, you are expected to win $192 over time. So expected value in this area increases if you are looking for the short and if you exactly wait for the right side of the V, and then you catch that move right back into today's low. You can see how 120 gave a nice little bounce into the close over here. Expect that 120 to break. I don't know if we can, but if that 120 breaks, your risk to reward just increases. Now maybe you're getting a $5 move instead, and that is an A trade. So if you can now just classify trades in this EV calculator way. I actually have my own code that calculates EV for me, but if you calculate EV in this very same way, look for your trades, see how much you're risking per trade, see how much your potential reward is on that trade, and calculate that potential percentage of probability of win rate. If you don't know the probability of the win rate, then you can just give it a 50%, a coin flip, a 50% coin flip. And if you calculated expected coin flip even off of that ratio, let's go back to the original ratio of 3.50. This is still a little bit better than a D trade on a coin flip. But because I know that when you're waiting at yesterday's VWAP on an important trade, on an important name like Target, if it's weak enough again, it's expected to find more weakness into yesterday's VWAP. So in that case, the win rate's usually a little bit higher over here from what I've seen. So that just makes the trade a B trade right away, just for looking for a move from 123.50 into 120. Simple, right? Simple idea. So watching how Target sets up on a nice little pop for me into today's VWAP all the way into the north side. The next stock, why am I putting dots on the chart? We just spent like what, 40 minutes talking about 4 stocks, and we have 17 more stocks on the day to talk about. Holy shit. All right, let's talk about MSTR. MSTR obviously had that fail breakout of 500. The stock is also going a little crazy, a little bonkers. So just wait for the backside to really open up. I think, you know, it'll be pretty obvious once the backside opens up. But right now, with how strong Bitcoin is, you can see how Bitcoin keeps charging into the 95. It just took out 95,000 slightly by only 20 cents though. So you know, it's going, but it's not really taking out just yet. So oh, there's a website that I use usually to see what the where is it? The Bit Wisdom? Yeah, coin. It was Bitcoin Wisdom. Okay, there you go. Where's the heat map? Man, this looks horrible. This looks trash. What the hell is this heat map, dude? Is there a heat map for the daily? Come on. How about the hourly? Probably looks equally trash. Well, that looks equally trash. Alright, whatever. This is not as good as used to be. I guess now it's a paywall. Everything's a paywall these days. God damn it. But you can see how strong Bitcoin is. And with Michael Saylor basically finding the infinite money glitch, you want to be careful looking heavily short on MSTR. Up 10% today, up 10% every single damn day, and keeps on charging to the upside. But you know, it's hard looking long on this name also when we're doing this kind of moves, right? Eventually it's got to chill out a little bit and catch a breather. So the pattern is usually 3 to 5 days after the breakout. So you can call this the breakout level, day 1, day 2, day 3, or if you look at this as the day 1 level, so day 1, day 2, day 3, potentially a couple more days of going a little crazy, maybe even cooling down into 500 action, and then that sets up for a nice little short. If today's high, which is basically 500 to 505, if today's high on the stock is not able to stay strong above that area and a pop into this area, I think you can look for a nice little intraday short scalp on the stock that could potentially turn into a multi-day swing, a multi-week short. But you want to be careful potentially swinging this position short over the weekend, you know, if you are looking for that short, because of how cryptocurrency is behaving. Michael Saylor looks to be buying every weekend and just loading the boat. That way when the stock opens on Monday, it just burns the boats for all the shorts. So you want to be careful potentially swinging a short on this stock over the weekend. But at least for the intraday, if we find some weakness into today's high on MSTR, I'm pretty interested to see how that one sets up. Coinbase, I told you the story, did I not? The best stock to short is Coinbase in terms of the cryptocurrency basket. So if you were looking for that opportunity, the fail break above that 330 to 335 area that we were talking about yesterday, the fail breakout above that area and the push back down give you a $10 move and a bounce right back off of that. So looking to see, you know, actually more than a $10 move. It gave you about a $30 move. Jesus Christ, how did I miss that? Gave you about a $30 move from there on Coinbase. So Sag, I missed that move on Coinbase. But if you were watching for this name, you know, the play was pretty simple. We talked about it yesterday. Look to see if the stock can hold above 335. If it can, then potentially look for a long. But if it cannot, you got a beautiful short opportunity right back to the downside. And that's exactly how it played out. But with the way it bounced today off of 300, it still got buyers, boys. It still got buyers. MARA had a decent move to the north side today. It popped up on my scanner. MARA had a decent move to the north side. Maybe worth keeping an eye on this one. IBIT, as Bitcoin now marching towards 95 and potentially even $100,000. IBIT doing a very similar move as cryptocurrency Bitcoin. So watching that one also. Now we can go through some of the other names over here that are popping up on my scanners. Let's go to RCAT. RCAT apparently had some sort of a news catalyst. Let's go see what happened to RCAT. Up 34% after announcing a partnership for Teal drones. Don't know what that means. Not gonna ask, not gonna question it. But it had a bounce, okay? It had a pop. Had a bounce, it had a pop. Let's go see how the stock reacts on some sort of a, what the fuck am I looking at, dude? It had a bounce, it had a pop. Let's go see what type of opportunity set up. It set up a partnership deal, expansion, but hopefully, you know, they actually reported terms of the deal, terms of the negotiation, the price and everything, because if those things are not reported properly, the market usually tends to look at these deals and then sell them off after the next few days. RCAT, let's go see what the float and all the other thing is on this position. RCAT. No PE, forward PE 79, market cap 480 million, 58% million share flow, out of which 8.81% is short. So not a big short float, but 8% short float on a 58 million short share float on a 480 million company. So, you know, if the numbers are not looking good on the stock, potentially a little bit of a squeeze, short coming into play right now, but eventually setting up for a big mean reversion and a move right back down on this name. We kind of quickly put down a level to keep an eye on, but that might be pre-split. No, that is post-split. Okay, post-split high $7.80, $7.75. We're kind of went into $7 today and rejected $7. We'll see if this $8 comes into play on RCAT. I might not even keep an eye on this one tomorrow unless it goes absolutely bonkers. So RCAT potentially something to watch. SMCI getting rejected from that $30 pretty cleanly. 27.71 was today's high, but rejected from 70 pretty cleanly in pre-market if you were looking for that trade. We talked about that pretty extensively. KC, I want to see what this one is. KC, what happened to KC today? Big move on KC, holy. Kingsoft Cloud, they had another partnership or some sort of a news catalyst move also. Let's go find what that news is. Why do I have so many things open? KC, what was KC? Up 42% after reporting earnings, and it sees accelerated growth rate for Q4 revenue. Okay, so reporting and reporting, I guess forecasting better. However, the report looks red over here. What the hell? You're still losing money. You're not making money. Your revenue was a very slight beat, but it looks like they are reporting on the good side somehow, even after all that. So a little bit of a pop over here today, 42%. Okay, let's not call it a little. Nice pop over here in the after hours on KC. Let's quickly go check some metrics. 1.6 billion market cap, not a real short flow at all, and 253 million. So it's not really a small cap. Anything less than 2 billion is technically a small cap, but it's not really a small cap over here anymore. It's kind of getting to the back to being above a small cap, I guess, with this big move today. So let's see how KC sets up for potential dip buy opportunities. If today was this earnings move, then obviously you want to see how the earnings anchored VWAP sets up. The earning was in pre-market apparently, so let's just throw in that marker for ourselves to keep an eye out for. Potentially a dip buy in the $6. As long as the stock stays above 6, maybe there is a trade that you could keep an eye out for. Maybe it's not worth ignoring, because if you hold above 6 pretty well, you know, maybe it does actually go into 8. Lots of maybes over here. No real plan. I'm not sure how it moves. I don't really I don't think I've traded KC too much before, but as long as it stays above 6 and I get to get a nice cheap easy shot to get long around $6, I'll get long around $6 as long as the chart pattern confirms it. But if it does not look like buyers are stepping in and holding above 6 and I can't get in close to 6, I'm not interested in it. Williams-Sonoma, big gap up in the pre-market off of its earnings report. So let me quickly mark in that earnings anchored VWAP. There we go. So basically earnings anchored VWAP coming in pretty damn close to today's open, 172. So I'll just say 172. Keep an eye out as long as WSM. Where was the previous line that we just threw in? That's also that's actually 172.89. No, that's 173. No, that's 172.89. So basically 173, where the anchored VWAP is, where that line we just threw in, the previous 52-week high, potentially the previous all-time high also. Let's go see if it is. It is the previous all-time high. So as long as the stock stays above the previous all-time high of 173 on WSM, I think there is an easy no-brainer long. This is very similar to what actually set up on Walmart. A very, wow, $87.18. This is the easiest dollar per share you would have made today if you were looking for the long. Stock open, flushes into $86, does not get below $86. Why 86, you say? That was the previous all-time high. So you can see how 86 right there, well, 85.79, sure, but $86, previous all-time high. Stock dips into the previous all-time high, is not able to find any seller below it, only buyers in front of it and above it. So stock moves right back into yesterday's VWAP cleanly. Look how yesterday's VWAP is exactly where we closed, around $87.20, right? Mathematics, it's beautiful, it's just magic that way. So the easiest dollar per share that you could have had, and you could have held this trade all day without any stress on the position. So shout out to Walmart for being the champion, and I think WSM sets up for something very similar for you to keep an eye out for. So watching WSM around 173, where today's anchored VWAP for earnings is, where today's VWAP is, where that previous all-time high is. KEYS, let's see what you did today. I know I said there's a little bit of a zone where if KEYS does not find buying in, I'm just not interested in, and you can see how we kind of just played within that zone. I think I'm gonna kind of maybe just ignore KEYS tomorrow. Honestly, their report wasn't their greatest. This move over here was you know, a little bit for whatever, if you ask me. Yeah, it managed to move right back up into the close, but I need to really see buying above that line that we just threw in, or even above today's high. So I need to see some real buying come into KEYS. I think it might not even meet my criteria for tomorrow. I'll just be bored on it. We have NVDA, Snowflake, PANW, all other names to keep an eye on. Potentially even this name over here to keep an eye on. Elf Beauty. What a beauty. Let's talk about Elf Beauty real quick. This one popped up on my scanner. Let me see if I can show you guys the picture of the scanner. Okay, so this one popped up on the scanner, 11:57. Bing, 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 bing. Elf Beauty is getting absolutely destroyed. Look at Elf Beauty. And then, okay, I see that it's getting destroyed. Big move to the downside. I quickly look for the Google search. Why is Elf Beauty getting destroyed? I find out that it has a short report on it. Okay, awesome. Usually when moves like this happen, they give you a beautiful capitulation long. So as I pull up Elf Beauty, I am now seeing, you know, a good long setup coming into play. You just wait for the previous 2-minute candle high to break, and then the lower days basically your stop. You're looking for a nice little reversion back into mean, back into at least the anchored VWAP from where the move started. So you can see how I have a move anchored VWAP from when the short report dropped, and the stock basically mean reverts right back into that area, struggles into that area a little bit back and forth as buyers and sellers come in, eventually a little bit of move down, and then move right back up and an even bigger move into close. So imagine you got long there, potentially you get stopped out over here, but then you could have re-entered and have an even bigger opportunity to get back long. So Elf Beauty was monsters today. If you were looking for that long right there, my capitulation scanner makes me so happy when it works. Mamma mia, I love that scanner when it works, and this was a classic example. Had a news catalyst behind it, capitulated with volume, broke the previous 2-minute candle, and then just kept straight going higher and higher and higher. Free advice guy, what's up, brother? How you doing? So yeah, Elf Beauty watching for sure. If that short report has any validity behind it, the stock should not really get above today's high, I would say. But if that short report does not have any validity and they only drop the short report so they can use that as liquidity to exit, if that's the case, then that makes the 100% sense as to why the stock reverted the big move that it showed as a reversion. So lots of questions over here. I'll put that stock in a blue marker. I want to see it active in pre-market before I even think about trading it. I want to see it active in pre-market. Maybe it gets active intraday and then we can talk about it. DXYZ sold off, as I said yesterday, in the after hours, but didn't really set up for a trade. And I guessed that, and looks like my guess was right. It just went back and forth. Chop, 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 chop. I'm expecting DJT to do something similar. Not really. It did give you a monster short from 31.50, but there were better trades on the day to keep an eye on. So I think DJT priority is kind of going lower and lower. DJT's priority potentially increases as we go into the transition period into January and so on. So until then, potentially putting DJT on the sidelines, not completely off the watch list, but on the sidelines. Palantir, the anchored VWAP for earnings is now slowly flattening out, which is looking much better for that juicy short opportunity under 58.50. So keep waiting for that short. But right now we keep just having inside days after inside days. So yesterday was the inside day of the day before. Today was the inside day of the day yesterday. Potentially an inside day tomorrow of today. So we just keep having inside days as volume dies down, as volatility dies down on Palantir. Eventually sellers are going to win or buyers are going to win, and that volatility picks back up, and after the compression dies down, we can start picking back this name as a trade opportunity again. Right now I'm not really going to care about it as it's not really into the edges. Lemonade gave you a nice long opportunity today, and Dider, if you're still watching, this right here is actually the inverse. This right here actually is the inverse bouncy ball. You're getting higher lows, but a very similar resistance level, right? So this would be an inverse bouncy ball. The whole idea of a bouncy ball, if I can go to paint, the whole idea of a bouncy ball is gravity of selling eventually will break the stock. Even though it might have had good news to start off the day, right? The profit taking, this is still potentially ending the stock green. I've seen this happen many times. This is still potentially ending the stock green. It gapped up in pre-market. It ran up off the open. It sells off an even dollar level. I actually have a very good example to show you right now about what happened more recently. Let me show you. Where is it? Right here. Oops, didn't mean to draw. Right, stock goes into $90. You can see how it says high $89.99. This day's high was basically $90, $89.99. Struggles into an even dollar. Has basically a flat area where you can see buyers are kind of stepping in, but eventually those buyers step out. So that's right here at 87.50, right? We kind of start creating lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. We start consolidating into the day's open. I would expect that's the day's open. Open is 86.82, so right around 87.50 to 88. You can see how that previous low is turning into a resistance, and then this previous low just breaks, and we just continue. The stock still ends green on the day even though it sells off, right? It doesn't really end red, but that is a setup that I've seen. So the gravity of the seller, higher lows, lower highs, but very same low, is the bouncy ball pattern. But if you kind of flip that, which is exactly what Lemonade did, right? Lemonade went up, gave you kind of a ascending triangle. Even you can call that a bouncy ball, you can call that an ascending triangle, whatever. The idea is still the same. The breakout is coming in over here, your stop is somewhere here maybe, or even on a lower time frame candle over here is your stop, and your reward is basically the width of this range. Whatever the width of this range is, you're expecting that to be your potential reward. So I just called it a bouncy ball, but realistically that setup over here on Lemonade today that came in, that I actually took, I executed on the long side today. Go back to the 5-day, that boom right there, it actually is an ascending triangle more than a bouncy ball. But you know, whatever helps you. You call it a bouncy ball. A rose is a rose, but ain't shit different, you know, everything's same. Nice little breakout over there from that candle, and then you can see how after we get back below that trend line and also get back below the breakout high, everything kind of just negates the theory. It's no longer a long anymore, and it's no longer really a big short, but it's no longer a long anymore. So you just take your profits and you run away. You potentially get stopped out on some trades over here and so on. So basically just chart patterns, something that I see Dieter using a lot more. I like it, Dieter. Coming back to Lemonade though, big day 2 today, monster move. Day 1, day 2, as I said, usually these moves happen for 3 to 5 days. Day 3, I'm not expecting it to be monstrous, so potentially an inside day on day 3 where the stock still ends green. Before that, the stock needs to trade in the higher 50% range of today, so that means it trades somewhere into $50 to today's VWAP, potentially stays above today's close. Today's close is 46.50, so for it to even stay above today's close and stay green, you're asking quite a lot from that position. So we'll see what happens. This is a pretty clean breakout if you ask me on the earnings report. It's been ever since on absolute swag mode, breaking out, consolidating, breaking out, consolidating, breaking out, consolidating. You could have basically traded the stock 3 times. Once, twice, thrice, 4 times, added every single time on your long, and never really get stopped out or worried about your position. And now look how much of a winner you're in. Let's say you enter on the 5-minute breakout. Let's say you get long 21, it says 19. Let's say you get long 21, that's 22. Let's say you get long 21.50, and you're riding the stock till now. You're up 122% in about 23 days, in about 20 days, right? Easy breakout setups right there. This is something Kulamagi talks about quite a bit. Not sure if this would come under the episodic pivot. I'm not gonna act like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that either, but this looks like a pretty big catalyst news, right? Pretty big catalyst. Earnings report, companies turning shit around and looking to get better again, making itself great again. So we'll see how much higher this one can go. I expect this to be in the higher 50% range of today. So for that, basically go into 50, fail break 50, come back into today's VWAP and potentially stay above today's VWAP, and today's VWAP ends around yesterday's VWAP is what I'm expecting Lemonade to come into. It'll be a pretty high priority name to keep an eye on. HLF, another watch list name that kind of popped up on my scanners. Okay, I think there could be a potential breakout coming in on HLF over here, somewhere above $9, $8.81 potentially. So if we do get above here, you know, some more room to the upside, but you are also pressing along into, I would say, you know, moving averages, the 200 moving average, the 250 moving average. So these are some long-term moving averages, and it's showing you the stock has a little bit of negative negative pressure off of those before, right? We have seen constant selling right here, wow, for quite some time. Here in 2022, in September 2022, in March 2023, in August 2023, December 2023, and in July 2024. It's been constantly selling off of these longer term simple moving averages. So pressing long going into these moving averages is a little idiotic according to my manager. But based on this daily chart, if this news is solid enough, what's the news? That's not solid enough. Herbalife director. This is Herbalife? We're shorting the shit out of this company. Never mind. So Herbalife potentially look for a short on this company on any pop. On any pop into this $9 barrier. But if we start holding above 9, I think there's an easy long on Herbalife. Who cares if somebody bought 2,500 shares on Herbalife? The director, Juan Miguel Mendoza, has bought 2,500 shares. What are we talking about over here, man? Come on, that's a joke. And for that reason, the stock popped up 8%, 9%. I think it's a bullshit reason. Potentially watching for a short unless we start holding above a 9. EQT, pretty good breakout on the daily chart today. So any pullback and holds above this daily chart breakout on EQT, you can look for a long on this one. $44.60. Today's low is $44.50. Let's just round it down and say $44.50, right? Nice and easy. $44.50 area. It's always a zone. It's never a 2-cent price. It's always a zone. Sometimes it is a 2-cent price, so I do like that, but it's sometimes a zone. No. Herbalife stock kicked. That's hedge mergers as 10 ago. Did it? Did it kick short sellers her life long time ago? What is it again? HLF? I don't buy Herbalife. This is bullcrap. Yeah, I mean, if it gets above 9, like I said, it's a very simple technical trade. If it gets above 9 and stays strong above 9, or if it gets into 10 and starts finding weakness into 10, because that's where the longer term moving averages are, where the stock is shown to be weak from, I will gladly look for a short on this name. But if we actually start holding above 9, maybe there could be a long on a nice dip buy. But you gotta show me a clean 10-15 minute hold above 9. A clean 10-minute, 15 hold above 9, 10 to 15 minute hold above 9 for me to think long on that stock. EQT. A good breakout on the daily chart, as I was saying, so potentially looking for today's VWAP. Looks like today's VWAP is around $46. Yeah, so potentially a dip into today's VWAP 46. If it dips below today's VWAP into that breakout level of 44.50, I think that's even better. Even better long opportunity off of 44.50. But if you don't get that, you can potentially see how 46 plays out. If 46 give you that dip buy, actually, what is that right there? That is pretty interesting to keep an eye on. That little wiggle right there. That's where yesterday's VWAP is coming into close. So 46 to 45.50. Because that is the basic swing low today. That is a nice swing low on EQT. So any dip buy into 46 to 45.50, green light. If it goes to 44.50 and holds that, I think that's a way better green light. But going to 44.50 means the stock potentially goes into 46 and then stops at 46. If it bounces off of 46, 45.50, it potentially goes into today's high or even higher than that, which is more juicy and a way more fun play. So watching how EQT sets up going into those opportunities. Tesla, maybe cool the jets on Tesla. The more fun stock right now because of its earnings report might just be NVDA. But if Tesla actually starts getting above 350, you want to have an alert knowing, showing you that, hey, stock getting above 350, it's time to get ready. It's action time, right? So be ready to see how Tesla reacts above 350. Meta, no play. Something that I'm noticing on Amazon is this 200, I almost said 100. It's this 200 area showing constant buying on any sort of dip. We dipped not too long ago, a couple days ago. We bounced off of 199. We dipped today below 200. We bounced off of 199. So 199 to 200 again on Amazon could potentially give you a very easy long, but if we start finding some weakness below 199, I think Amazon could really start crumbling to the downside. Another thing that I noticed is Apple 230. Apple ran to 230 off the open today and then instant reject off of 230. Surprise, surprise. Yesterday's high 230. Surprise, surprise. Day before that high 230. So every single day of this week, Apple has just been getting slammed back down from 230. So if we get another opportunity, if history keeps repeating, why should I not take advantage of it? But if history stops repeating and the seller is now weak at 230, a break above 230 potentially takes the stock higher. Apple is also fighting against NVDA to be the #1 publicly traded large company in the world. At 3.46 trillion each. Well, I think NVIDIA is at 3.5 now. Yeah, NVIDIA 3.6 and Apple's at 3.46. So NVIDIA basically largest company again by quite a distance. But we'll see if NVIDIA puts that distance a little bit more further tomorrow by going up, or does it close the gap by going down tomorrow? And sadly, if NVIDIA goes down, I think Apple potentially sells off because the overall market sells off tomorrow. So watch out how Apple sets up. If NVIDIA goes higher, Apple breaks out above 230, I think that's an easy long for us to keep an eye out also. So Apple for sure important. A lab moving into the $100 area in the pre-market slash after hours. Why did I say pre-market? Sorry, into the after hours and actually breaking above 100 in the after hours. Why? What's the news? Executive sells shares for tax obligations. Very little, only 600,000, 700,000 shares. That's very little. 12,500 shares. Director Jack R. Lazar sells 12,500 shares, sold out yesterday. That's basically made the stock go higher a little bit. That's strange. I don't see any other real news besides that. But look, hey, the stock looks like it wants to break out above its all-time high recent IPO. So if buyers can step in above 100, then that's an easy no-brainer long. But if buyers don't step in above 100, you want to be very careful looking for that long on this name. Potentially can give you a retrace short back down on fail of volume. No volume tomorrow, no buyers above 100, can give you a nice short back into $95 or something, where the earnings anchored VWAP currently is coming into, it's actually at $92, the earnings anchored VWAP. Anyways, could potentially move back into $95 to $90 in my opinion on that short, but you would really need to be sure that buyers are not being at 100, right? So you got to make sure that you're watching how the tape is reacting. Are they able to hold 100 on the bid? If 100 is being solid, you want to back out from the short idea, get ready to play the long, because that could be explosive. The stock has a $6 ATR, so it could be a very fun explosive long on the stock if we can hold above 100. I'm actually going to upgrade the importance of the stock based on what I just saw in the after hours. Payo potentially could break out of 11. It tried to push into 11 today, but failed to do anything above 11. But looking like it wants to break out of 11 over here very, very soon. So watching this one, I'm also going to put this one on a higher important tier for myself. As soon as it breaks out of $11, I'm going to put that marker right there. Today, not really a big volume spike, but average volume. It's bringing in average volume. I'll be happy with it, but I would like to see a good volume spike above $11 to be interested on PAYO. Coinbase, we already talked about this one. Where are we? Where is my watch list? SoFi, that's where we are. SoFi. SoFi did manage to get above 1450, but honestly, it wasn't strong above 1450. I guess you could say it was, but it wasn't strong in a way where I wanted it to be strong. Okay, so it did hold up above 1450. You can say SoFi was doing pretty well above 1450. The idea still stands true. You can continue looking for the long on SoFi as long as 1450 dip by continue to hold up, or you can even potentially look for the 15 breakout. I would say looking for the 15 breakout is not as stupid, but be ready to give the risk all the way up to 1450, because you're not really wrong until it goes back into 1450 and starts being weak under 1450. You could monkey the trade, meaning you take the breakout, and if it doesn't work, you immediately dump it and you walk away from it. You could monkey the trade, but in my opinion, if you're looking for a swing trade over here, you want to at least risk it to today's low, or at least 1450. So watch how SoFi sets up on a potential breakout above that $15 area in the next few days. FUTU looks to be strong at the moment above our or at least my important level of 8650, but I'm continuing to be patient and look to see if 8650 sets up. At the moment, putting FUTU importance as a lower tier because it's not really setting up just yet. Reddit looked like it wanted to break out above its all-time high today. No real spike in volume into the breakout, but we are increasing volume slightly as we are making a charge into that level. So 139, 140, it's not 140, it's 139, but I'm kind of giving it that leeway room up to 140 on Reddit to see if the breakout can come into play and set up. I'm gonna right now, for this instance, I'm gonna put the importance for the stock at the highest level priority for me. For those of you wondering, I actually color them in this way, where the orange name stocks are the highest priority, orange name stocks are the priority below purple. Purple are the highest priority, orange are below purple, and then blue are the lowest priority. Gray are the lowest priority, and then above gray are blue. So that's the way I kind of color code my watch list. So I'm ready to see what stocks are moving in pre-market based on my plan, and if any of the stocks based on my plan are moving in pre-market, kind of focus on them more off the open, and then later on in the day I look at my oranges and my blues to see what they are doing off the levels that I'm looking at. So Baidu, we kind of talked about that real quick. Reddit, we talked about that. Affirm and Hood. Boy, oh boy, today's stream is long. Short Tesla says has Momo. I like it. I like it. Affirm looked pretty strong above 60 today, but I think looking for the long on this one is a little shaky at the moment. You want to wait for it to consolidate a little bit more maybe, and then you get another breakout on this stock, kind of like what Lemonade has been doing, right? It's also another finance stock like Lemonade. It's making a move like Lemonade. So if a firm wants to consolidate a little bit, pull back into 60 and find buying above 60, I think looking along around 60 is fine. But then pressing along above 60, unless you really get a proper breakout on this stock, I think would be a little stupid. You know, Affirm also doesn't really have a PE. I don't think they make money yet, do they? Or have things changed? Yeah, forward PE 111. They don't make money, right? So, you know, things are changing for them due to most recent catalysts, but this is expensive territory. 111 forward PE. So looking long, pressing long, as we are also so far extended from the 200-day moving average, and you know, it's just hard for me to look for that long. But looking for the dip buy into 60s, I think will not be a bad idea. Priority blue. Hood, kind of in the same basket as SoFi, if you ask me. What did I color as SoFi? I colored SoFi as purple because I'm looking for that $15 breakout. I'm also wishing that it goes higher because I have it in my personal account. So maybe I need to, because of that, downgrade SoFi to a lower category. But this is kind of in the same category, as long as, you know, it's also in the same category as, what's the other stock? I guess it is just that's SoFi is the only stock I'm thinking about. So SoFi category, as long as it stays above 34, 35, I think you can continue looking long. It's been showing you really good bullish momentum for the last few days, and a little bit of bearish momentum today, if you ask me, because it sold off from the 38. But hey, it's still a green day, up 3%, 2.5%. Sorry, up still 2.5%. Could just pull back, find buying, could just settle in this area and then break out again, right? Hood has also had a lot of good news recently. Even though their earnings report wasn't that great, they had a lot of good news that kind of helped them out. So looking short, not really. Looking long, not really. Important, not really. So if you get a dip buy into 34, 35, maybe you could look long, but I'm not really that interested to keep an eye on this name at the moment. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the watch list for tomorrow. Quickly glancing over the watch to see if I missed anything. No, pretty much nailed every single stock. We did miss one. BJ's. Ooh, looks like that's a level right there. 84. If we start getting below 84 and have weakness below 84, that could open some downside potentially on BJ's. Let's see if tomorrow's report opens up that opportunity, or do we go back into the all-time high territories of $92 on BJ's. That's a pre-market reporter. Now we head over to doing some research about Pony, the IPO. The IPO is tomorrow. $240 million deal size, 20 million shares being offered on this IPO. Let me quickly copy this data. So I have it saved for tomorrow. Shares offered, 20 million, deal size 240 million. Statistics, let's go read about it. Pony AI market cap or net worth of 4.14 billion, enterprise value of 3.66 billion. Shares outstanding 344.95 million shares. PE non-existent, looks like they don't make money. PS price to sales ratio 49.08. Enterprise value, financial position, there we go. Margins, gross margin 22.82, while operating margins of negative 163.03 and profit margins of negative 126.62. Jeez. Cash flow. In the last 12 months, operating cash flow was negative 111.73 million and capital expenditures of negative 5 million, giving a free cash flow of negative 116.81 million. Company has 483.61 million in cash and 4 million in debt, giving net position of 479 million and 1.39 per share on the balance sheet. In the last 12 months, Pony AI had revenue of 84.3 million. And a negative 106.78 million in losses. Where is the money being lost? What do you guys do that you're losing that much money? Is it going in energy costs? Is it going in payroll? Where is the money going? Where is that money being lost into? Oh God. Oh God. Okay, I thought this was an American company. This is a Chinese company, founded in 2016. Electronic components, technology sector, employees 1,359. This is something I used to do quite a bit, but I haven't done it in a while. Let's head over to Google Maps and search. No reviews. This place doesn't exist. Wait, can you not Street View in China?
As if you're just
Wow. They don't let you street view office buildings in China?
Alright guys, it's gonna be exciting today. We're gonna do the first $1,000 giveaway on stocks.
Super exciting. Somebody's gonna win money.
Wait, this is Hong Kong, is it not? Did it say China? Did it say Hong Kong? No, it said pretty close to Hong Kong though. Can you not street view in China?
$1,000 to the group of people who predict the closest. Welcome. There's no money. There's no price.
That's crazy. Oh, you can.
Make a prediction on to the right price. You win a
Okay.
$1,000.
Why won't they let me street view here then, huh?
And everyone gets one free entry every single day. Get more free entries.
All right. I guess we can't do our investigative research as we wanted to, but that looks like, I guess, what could be.
Guaranteed, like, because you can place a bet.
Come over, make a free account. Super easy. Super easy.
Tomorrow we could do crypto.
That could be interesting. That would be interesting.
What could be.
That could be interesting.
I don't know, man. What is this company? This company looks fake as fuck. Autonomous mobility everywhere. Technology. We are developing safe and reliable autonomous driving technology globally. Having accumulated millions of kilometers in autonomous road testing in complex scenarios, we have built a solid foundation to deliver autonomous driving systems at scale. Business units. Join us. Our story. In Silicon Valley, Pony AI has quickly become a global leader in autonomous mobility and is a pioneer in extending autonomous mobility technologies and its services at a rapidly expanding footprint off sites around the world, operating robotaxi, robotruck, and personally owned vehicle (POV) business units. Pony AI is an industry leader in the commercial. What? Is this real chat? This can't be legit. These guys are not real.
The numbers that continue being growing, like even just in the chat right now, we have 424 people. You'll learn the game over time. You'll learn the game over time, though. We'll see everybody tomorrow, though. Peace out, chat. Peace out, chat.
Alright, peace out, guys. Thank you.
This can't be legit, yo. How many cars do you have? Ten cars? The car hit a road center divider and a traffic sign in Fremont after turning right. Suspended driver testing permit for Pony AI following this incident. It's the first time for the DMV for such a suspension. Subsequently, the National Highway Traffic launched a probe more than 4 months after this incident. The first recall of the autonomous driving system as the company complied with the government agency request. Revoked permit. Failing to monitor the driving records of the safety drivers of the testing permit. 2023 is back to testing its fleet with safety drivers present in California. So you're now testing the fleet again by actually having a safety driver sitting in the car for you. Not a good sign. Because there's also already Waymo. And there's another company that recently went public, a Chinese robo-taxi company that recently went public. I can't remember what the company is. Someone help me. It wasn't Waymo. WeRide, WRD. That's a Chinese EV company that recently IPO'd. So here's a good example actually, of what you can expect tomorrow. Pretty sure if I remember this company being Chinese. Am I wrong by saying that? There you go, China. Robo-taxi, robo-vans, robo-sweepers. I mean, look, is this not the exact same goddamn... Right? So here's a very good example tomorrow for the IPO. For those of you looking to trade Pony, go look at how WRD traded on its IPO day. And that it's gonna be a very good example of what you can expect out of Pony. So pop off the open, stalling at a even dollar price usually. Usually that's how it behaves off the IPOs. You might see a seller at one of these even dollar areas, and you can get short pretty much for the rest of the day. Pretty much for the rest of the day. I'm gonna actually take a screenshot of this chart and save it for myself real quick. Can I go back all the way till there? Hope I can. I can. Hell yes. Awesome. Go back, copy this image, and post it in my chat so I can save it for myself. And when tomorrow the IPO opens up, I can quickly analyze this move, and then I can create a game plan based on similar patterns on Pony. So basically looking for the most part, looking to short this company if you have not gotten the idea yet. If you haven't gotten the idea yet. According to, where are we? According to California 2021, Pony had third highest number of miles driven behind Waymo and Cruise. Third highest miles driven. So them saying that they have the most, or being industry leading, all that bullshit. They were also the first to get pulled back and revoked. Pony AI became first autonomous driving company to get a taxi license in China. Ooh, maybe WeRide did not then, okay? Pony AI partnered with the equipment manufacturer industry to mass produce autonomous driving trucks in China. License to operate taxi services in, it says, okay, so you just got a license. Toyota and Pony AI developed plans to mass produce robotaxis in China. Really, Toyota? Okay. The two companies and GAC Toyota, a venture between Japanese automaker and Chinese state-owned Guangzhou Automobile Group, will invest more than 1 billion won combined. Okay, not bad. Ooh, okay. So it was supposed to go through reverse back merger, but in 2021, companies suspended those plans due to Chinese regulators. You're getting more contracts from Saudi Arabian people. And then you're obviously public IPOing tomorrow. So I want to see how many cars you actually have from our quick little analysis over here. We've only seen that they have 6 cars, and they kind of lost that suspension for a little bit, and then they got that suspension or the license back. So they don't really have that many cars in California. Maybe they have some real cars out there in China. Maybe if you guys have been to China, you can tell me about this company, Pony AI. But very clear idea for a trading idea. I kind of talked about it. You're just kind of looking for the stock to show you selling after it pops up. Basically doing what WRD did tomorrow. Okay? And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the watch list. Tomorrow's economic calendar coming in hot. We got 8:30 numbers, initial jobless claims, Philadelphia manufacturing number, existing home sales, Vice Chairman Barr, balance sheet, 10-year tips, Goolsby, a bunch of stuff happening throughout the day. So make sure you have your economic calendar open somewhere on the screen so you are alerted as to what is happening at what times. Mainly you want to keep an eye out for these 3-star events. Those move the market usually. I'm seeing a lot of negative signs across the world. Not China, I think Canada maybe, or Europe, the inflation signs are looking bad again. I think that's what they were saying at least. So if that's the case, you want to be careful if we're going back in the negative direction and the inflation signs are looking bad again, because that will not be a good indication for the market, especially when the market's hanging out near all-time high. It could really crumble. So lots of things to question on the market tomorrow, and all those will be answered obviously for us to potentially take opportunities on, for us to make some money on. Give you guys a bunch of levels, bunch of trade ideas. Hopefully you guys like some of them, and then you guys execute on them. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the final stream of the week. TraderPrad out. Good luck. Adios. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.